Alright, what's going on? Up next, we have The Baby, uh, released by Severin. Very, very strange, um, subtly disturbing 1970s flick. Um, Tells the story of a social worker who is assigned to a very strange case after her request to investigate it. A family, a mother, two daughters, and a son. The son is perpetually a year and a half old in his mind, something like that. He can't walk, he can't talk. Uh, he is a 30-some-year-old. I mean, that's sort of what he looks like. He's an adult male, um, being treated as and has the mental capacity of a baby, probably around one or so, because he can crawl, he can say mama, he understands yes and no, but he can't talk, he can't walk. I mean, they keep him in a giant crib, they dress him in baby clothes, giant baby clothes, they give him bottles, they feed him soft foods, just like a 1-year-old or so. And the social worker starts to notice some strange things, that maybe these people aren't quite as normal as they seem. In the movie, you just sort of accept that, and apparently, this can be a normal condition. I don't know about having the mind of a 1-year-old at this person's age, but obviously we all know that there are people out there that have the minds of 5-year-olds, and grow up being adults. So the condition itself doesn't lend too far of disbelief. It's somewhat believable. And you also start to wonder the motives pretty early on of the social worker. She's an oddball too. Really, there's not a normal person in the entire movie. They're all a little off, which makes for a really interesting film. It's done in a really subtle, psychological way, and there for a while you're not really sure what you're watching. Is this a horror film? Is this a drama? Is this an exploitation movie? You don't really kind of get it all until the very end. And it really is sort of a psychological horror film, done in a really, really subtle way, which is very interesting. They could have gone, in my opinion, if this was, made by anyone else besides Ted Post, I think they could have gone a very, very nasty, exploitive route, which could have made for an interesting film as well. But I do like the way that they went with this one. There's just a lot of things. I think this is one of those movies that you would catch a lot of little hints about things if you watched it more than once. Certainly some mentally disturbing scenes. Not crazy disturbing, but just kind of like, okay, yeah, that's not right. But for the most part, it keeps you guessing. You're not sure who's good, who's bad, what really is going on until the end. I liked it. It was very strange. And certainly a movie only to come out in the 70s, which is always fun to watch. The acting is really good. The guy that plays the baby is he creeps me out really bad. Just the way that he has this look on his face the entire time. I'm not going to even try to do it, but what was his name? Let's see. David Manzi, who is now a teacher in Texas, which is kind of strange. But the acting is really good. The film looks pretty good. There are some scenes that are in darker settings that are a little bit muted, and the blacks aren't very good, but for the most part, especially for when this film came out in '72, Severin did a pretty good job remastering this thing. Interesting part is that this is rated PG. Now, there's nothing, again, overly violent, or there's no nudity, but there is this sexual tone throughout the whole thing, this sort of weird, unspoken sexual not frustration, but sexual tone. I don't know how to explain it. That kind of just runs through the entire movie, which kind of lends you to this very unsettling feel, which is probably why it's surprising that it's PG. Again, it's not, there's nothing in it that's like, I cannot believe this movie is PG. I have seen movies like that before, where there's blood and stuff in a PG film from the 70s, and you're like, well, how the hell is this rated PG? At least PG-13, to today's standards at least. But yes, PG. So, according to the ratings board, at least back then, your kid can watch it. This is a film suitable for children, as long as you say so. I don't know that the kid would really even probably take one look at it and be like, this is boring, I don't want to watch this. But I don't think there's anything in it that would like disturb them for the rest of their lives. It's just too psychological. They'd actually have to sit down and really think about it. I don't think a kid at certain ages has the mental capacity to really figure this one out. So, but anyway, feature-wise, not really much to speak of. There is a audio interview with the director, Ted Post, which lasts about 15 minutes or so, and a audio interview with star David Mooney, aka David Manzi, who was a baby. So that's it in a trailer. So not much extras-wise, but a very interesting, really strange, slightly disturbing 70s sickie, I'm going to call it. So if you're into sort of these subtle psychological horror films, then you will probably enjoy this. It is definitely a interesting, strange time, and I'm sure definitely I can say you've probably never seen anything quite like it. So check it out. The baby, some weird shit.